Kazakhstan established and developed relationships with more than 140 countries worldwide. The country is a member of over 60 international organizations. Kazakhstan is an open and friendly partner, the initiator of the various integration processes in the world community, always ready to create the conditions for global dialogue. Kazakhstan and Belarus this year celebrate the 25th anniversary of the establishment of diplomatic relations. During this time, the trade turnover between the countries increased tenfold. According to the ambassador of the Republic of Belarus and Kazakhstan, Anatoly Nechkasov, an important event for the countries was the agreement on the establishment of the Eurasian Economic Union, which was signed in Astana.
С 91 года, когда Республика Казахстан получила свою независимость,
Since 1991, when the Republic of Kazakhstan gained its independence, our relations were formed as diplomatic relations. In addition, we signed a cooperation agreement between the countries, which in fact celebrates quite a large date. We prolonged this agreement and very much count on the fact that during the high-level visit to the Republic of Belarus, expected at the end of this year, an agreement will be signed with the program of cooperation for the next decade until 2026.
Визита высокого уровня в Республику Беларусь, мы ожидаем в конце этого года, будет подписан договор с программой сотрудничества на очередное десятилетие, до 2026 года.
Currently, trade relations between the countries are actively developing. So for 5 months of the current year, the volume of trade reached $207 million. This is 73% more than the same period last year. This was announced at the Kazakh-Belarusian Forum, which was held in Astana in conjunction with the exhibition Made in Belarus. The event was attended by the prime ministers of both countries, Andrei Kobakov and Bakujan Sagintayev, as well as 70 Belarusian enterprises and about 200 Kazakhstan companies. Our today's meeting is another evidence of mutual interest and mutual striving to strengthen business contacts. The active participation of representatives of small and medium-sized businesses of our countries is especially impressive. We saw it ourselves during the tour of exhibition. Today in Kazakhstan, there are about 250 joint ventures with the participation of the Belarusian business. At the same time, I believe that the exhibition, Made in Belarus, will give an additional impulse for further expansion of mutually beneficial cooperation between our countries and will contribute to the emergence of new joint projects. According to Bakujan Sagintayev, Kazakhstan is interested in further expansion of bilateral cooperation in 3 areas: increasing trade, investment cooperation, and development of transport and logistics infrastructure. To this end, Kazakhstan is actively working to improve the investment climate. The number of permits for business is reduced, and the procedures for obtaining them are simplified. Within the framework of this work, the Kazakh government established the national company Kazakh Invest. Within the framework of this work, the Kazakh government established the national company Kazakh Invest with a network of foreign representatives and regional branches. Also in Kazakhstan, a number of state programs aimed at the development of transport and logistics infrastructure, housing construction, production of export-oriented, high-tech products, manufacturing, and industry are implemented. Within the framework of these programs, various measures of state support are provided, subsidizing the interest rate on loans, rendering services, investment and tax preferences. There are 10 special economic zones and about 20 industrial zones. The Prime Minister of Belarus also made a speech at the Business Forum. According to him, the only way to stabilize the economic situation in the world is to form common markets. We have something to offer to our partners. With a population of 1/10 of a person of the world, our country accounts for 30% of the world market of mining dump trucks, 10% of the tractors market, and 7% of the combine market. Belarus is the 3rd exporter of flax fiber in the world, exports dairy products to the top 10 countries in the world, and sugar, oil, beef in the top 20. Kazakhstan also has a serious economic potential in various fields. modern industries, highly qualified personnel. The spectrum of cooperation between the two countries is very diverse. This is evidenced by the signed agreement on cooperation between the Kazakhstan television agency Kabar and the Belarusian state TV and radio company. Now the specialists of the two countries will be able to exchange experience in the framework of trainings and not only. This gives us an opportunity to work more closely with the Belarusian channel in terms of producing the possible content and exchange of information. We assume that this will give us an opportunity to expand our partner network and the presentation of the content that our agency produces on the territory of the Republic of Belarus. I think that our TV series, documentaries, can be interesting not only in Kazakhstan, but also in Belarus. The same thing, I think, that the content produced by the Belarusian TV company is likely to be of interest to our TV audience, and we plan to expand cooperation in this sphere. Belarus demonstrates its achievements in the most important for the country's sector in its pavilion as part of the participation in Expo 2017. Among them is the Sino-Belarusian Industrial Park Great Stone, which is of great importance for the program of the economic belt of the Silk Road. A special emphasis is placed in the exposition on IT technology, and the national flavor and originality of the Belarusian culture are reflected in linen, ceramic and straw products. The heads of the governments of Kazakhstan and Belarus personally familiarized with all the exhibits. Andrei Kobekov, in the framework of his speech on the occasion of the National Day of Belarus at the International Exhibition, noted the importance of the issues raised by Kazakhstan. Today, Belarus, like many other participants of the Expo, is building its energy policy in such a way as to prevent the negative influence of external factors on the development of the country. In Belarus, traditional energy sources such as wind, sun and biofuel are gradually replacing traditional gas, wood and coal. We're developing a peaceful atom. We're building a nuclear power plant, which will be one of the most modern and safe nuclear power plants in the world. We expect that Expo 2017 will allow us to exchange experience with other countries in the field of energy efficiency, to enter into mutually beneficial projects for the production and use of energy. The congratulatory speech on the occasion of Belarus Day at Expo 2017 was made by the head of the Kazakh government, noting the importance of innovative developments presented at the exhibition. Theme of the exhibition, Future Energy, is more urgent than ever, and it is closely connected with the implementation of the principles of the National Strategy for Sustainable Social and Economic Development of the Republic of Belarus until 2020. It should be noted the uniqueness of the Pavilion of Belarus, which presents the latest innovative developments of Belarusian scientists in the field of future energy. Production of energy-saving, environmentally friendly machinery and equipment, reducing carbon dioxide emissions, energy conservation and energy efficiency. Separately, I will note the presented original layout of the electric bus, which attracted the attention of many visitors of the exhibition. It is this technology that fully corresponds to the subject matter of the exhibition and should be presented in our cities and villages in the near future. At the end of the official part of the celebration of the National Day, a bright cultural program with songs and national dances of Belarusian bands were presented. Expo 2017 is actively used by the participating country to highlight bilateral relations and establish contacts between countries. Thus, at the last press conference, within the framework of the international exhibition, the ambassador of Belarus in Kazakhstan spoke in detail about the current situation in the economic ties between the two countries.
Если говорить о структуре экспорта и импорта Республики Беларусь и Казахстан, то прежде всего, конечно, я бы выделил те основные товары,
которые... If we talk about the structure of exports and imports between Belarus and Kazakhstan, First of all, I would highlight, of course, those basic goods that we exchange. Traditionally, Kazakhstan is interested in transport equipment, tractors, combines, truck tractors, milk, cream, condensed and dry milk, machine mechanisms for agricultural processing of lands, harvesting, threshing of crops, automobile cargo. Very popular furniture, wood products, doors, wooden floors, medicines, thermoplastic.
Полы деревянные, лекарственные средства, тара пластмассовая. Беларусь импортирует такие товары из Казахстана, как каменный уголь, нефть сырую, автомобили.
More precisely, Belarus imports such goods from Kazakhstan as hard coal, crude oil, cars that are produced here, finished oil products, medicines, as well cotton fiber. Belarus is also a country that deals with cotton products. We buy steel, aluminum, ferroalloys, medicines, various chemical elements that are extracted here.
Также алюминий. Поэтому ферросплавы, лекарственные средства, различные там химические элементы, те, которые добываются здесь.
To such a wide range of goods for import-export, considerable efforts were made by the Chambers of Commerce and Industry. I will briefly mention the cooperation of the chambers, the central apparatus of the chambers. Our cooperation is about 10 years. In 2009, we signed an agreement on cooperation with the National Chamber of Entrepreneurs of Kazakhstan, but the record holder is still our regional chamber. The agreement within them was signed in 1997, already with the Pavlodar branch of the Chamber of Commerce and Industry. The function of the Chambers of Commerce and Industry is to promote business, create sites for establishing mutually beneficial cooperation, and then, of course, we fully fulfill these functions. Also, the Belarusian side noted the growing interest in the furniture team in the pre-exhibition period of Expo. Starting from the moment of preparation for the large-scale event, the infrastructure of the Expo city, including the residential zone for the representatives of the participating countries, was actively developing in Astana. However, Belarus did not limit itself to cooperation in this direction, but decided to take part in the Expo itself, since the country has a direct relationship to the subject of the exhibition, future energy. Renewable energy sources include not only wind and solar energy. Belarus is traditionally a country with a huge number of rivers and lakes, and we have hydroelectric power stations. A whole program exists, the construction of hydroelectric power stations, and we annually, or rather somewhere once every 2 years, we put into operation another hydroelectric power station. At least these last 5 to 10 years, we saw the dynamics. In addition, Belarus is in the phase of active construction of the Belarusian nuclear power plant. You probably know that it will be commissioned in 2020. Since 1998, the Central State Commission has been working as a part of specialists of the Academy of Sciences, various ministries, departments, specially authorized organizations, which worked out all aspects of the creation of nuclear energy in the Republic of Belarus and the construction of the station itself. And in spite of the fact that the country does not have rich resources of wind energy in comparison with Kazakhstan, in western and northwestern regions of Belarus, wind power production capacities are installed. There are also studies in the use of energy from geothermal sources. LED systems have been especially developed. The country occupies one of the leading positions in the post-Soviet space. And Expo 2017 is an excellent platform for searching for a new potential for the development of further interaction.
Беспилотные летающие аппараты, может быть, наверное, да? Совместное исследование.
Unmanned aerial vehicles, maybe. Maybe, probably yes. Joint research and use of outer space, well, why not? There are flying satellites, tens, hundreds of satellites there, and Belarus and Kazakhstan use space technologies. We could unite our efforts here for the National Economic Complex to use all these possibilities. From the point of view of remote sensing of the Earth, for a more complete coverage, so to speak, filming. So for these purposes, to track traffic, for example the GPS system, Well, we have whole caravans today. We have transport and logistics corridors. And there is a combined transport group on the TLC, which provides transit of goods from the Pacific through China, through Kazakhstan, from Russia to Belarus, and Europe to La Manche to Lisbon.
Из России, Беларусь в Европу, до Ла-Манша, до Лиссабона.
Another important event in the framework of the 3-month exhibition in Astana was the National Day of Hungary. On this occasion, the Minister of National Economy of Hungary, Mihai Varga, and the Minister of Agriculture of the country, Sándor Fazekas, visited Kazakhstan. This event is timed to the main national holiday of the country, the Day of Saint Istvan, or the National Day of Hungary. This day is considered the day of the foundation of the Hungarian statehood. We're celebrating the foundation day of our state, returning to our 1000-year history. We are an Oriental people and try not to forget our roots. We must also remember that we're part of the European Union. In Kazakhstan, we're looking for new opportunities for cooperation and exchange of best practices of our countries. And we are very pleased that our cooperation is reaching a new strategic level. Another confirmation of this is Hungary's participation in Expo 2017. This site is considered by the country as another opportunity to talk about the country and its potential. At the Expo, the Pavilion of Hungary has 2 tasks. The first is to acquaint visitors with the cultural, historical, and economic characteristics and capabilities of our country. And the second task is the fact that we brought here such enterprises that are engaged in energy, and they are looking for new opportunities in the development of the energy of the future. Both goals have been successfully achieved. The number of visitors to the Pavilion of Hungary has already exceeded 200,000 people, and we hope this figure will grow to 300,000. In the official ceremony of celebrating the significant event, the Kazakh side, represented by the Vice Minister of the National Economy of Kazakhstan, Madina Abulkasimova, took part. She voiced the main milestones of bilateral cooperation and fresh statistical data. Last October, we held the first constituent meeting of the Strategic Council between Kazakhstan and Hungary, the 5th meeting of the Intergovernmental Kazakh-Hungarian Commission for Economic Cooperation was held. A business forum with the participation of about 150 businessmen from 2 countries was successfully held. Starting from 2016, the Kazakh-Hungarian Private Equity Fund started to invest in projects in the agro-industrial complex. Currently, Hungarian companies are successfully operating in Kazakhstan. We have about 50 joint ventures. The interest in increasing is there. As the Vice Minister of the National Economy of Kazakhstan noted, according to the results of the first half of 2017, one can speak of a significant increase in trade between the 2 partner countries. Thus, commodity turnover increased almost 1.6 times and amounted to about $80 million. And that is not all. Both sides are working to develop economic relations and already see the potential for further cooperation.
Құрметті вице-министр ханым, құттықтау сөзіңізге үлкен алғыс айтамыз.
Más mértékkel mérnek. Szilaj természetűek.
Our country is ready to support Kazakhstan with the provision of seeds, the technologies for their breeding, and also the necessary base for this. Agriculture is one of the sources of future energy, and we try to demonstrate this within the framework of our exposition and on the example of the relevant Hungarian enterprises. We held a meeting with the Kazakh Minister of Agriculture and completed a series of negotiations with the aim of exchanging technologies and joint training of specialists. As a result, our Institute for Agricultural Innovation and Research signed an agreement with the Kazakh side on cooperation in research and education. As part of the cultural event of the celebration of the National Day of Hungary at Expo 2017, the guests had the opportunity to enjoy folk music performed by the Kipchak ensemble, as well as the creation of the orchestra of the Air Force of the Hungarian city of Szolnok, performing the traditional music of the Royal Army of the country.